First, India going nuclear. It was something on the cards, given India's size, given India's location, and given India's neighborhood. Given that China did go nuclear in 1964, we had very few options. So the argument that people make that India sold out on its conventional capability by going nuclear, I think is a little misplaced. There was a certain ineluctability, there was a certain inevitability about India going nuclear the moment China had gone nuclear. Because in 1962 we had already fought a war with China, we had lost territory, a huge amount of territory. The argument that in 1998 we did it for a whole host of reasons, again there are many debatable issues. Certainly the CTBT was something that was a concern, a serious concern. But if some people recall, way back even in 1995, there were plans, there at least rumors were there, of India planning a nuclear test. As a matter of fact, the secrecy that we witnessed in 1998 was a reaction to what happened in 1995, where we were, it is believed, I don't know how true or false, that we were prevented from going testing. There were too many pressures that were brought onto India to not test. Testing, to my view, was necessary. It was necessary because it leads to credibility. Without testing, I mean, that's the philosophy. Without testing, your credibility is in question. I concede that when we tested, the results were questionable. Against claims, the observation was that the yields were not as much as what we thought it ought to have been. And there I come to the point of the position we took after the test of voluntarily accepting a moratorium on testing. To my point of view, that's a big issue even today, that does our nuclear weapons capability appear credible enough to the powers that be in terms of capabilities? And the powers that be is obvious. I don't have to go into identifying countries. But does India need to test today to further prove its capability is a question mark. Or people will accept, neighbors will accept, adversaries will accept that we have the requisite capability. Then I'll move on to the question of deterrence. I concede, if you look at India's history, from day one, India's deterrence has failed. 47, we got attacked. 62, we lost territory. 65, we got attacked. There was a short period between 68 and 83 where things were stable. 84, Khalistan movement, supported by, we believe, supported by our neighbors. 90 onwards, full-blown militancy in the valley. And there we were sitting that what can we do to dissuade? What can we do to deter? And there the argument about conventional and nuclear, I mean, you also need a conventional surplus force, which we felt for quite some time that India has lacked. Even today, some of us feel that leave aside the nuclear deterrent, your conventional capability is also lacking. The muscle is missing. So coming back to the history of deterrence, 90 full-blown militancy. You move on, 99. We in the army, sitting at that point of time, I was in the army headquarters, firmly of the belief that conventional wars are no longer a likelihood with Pakistan. No longer a likelihood. All our focus was on how to counter the support to militants in the valley, how to prevent infiltration, how to counter the militancy. Total focus. As a matter of fact, regular troops were moved out which had conventional tasks on the border to fight militancy. And I recall complaining to the establishment that, look, you're compromising on your conventional capability. Anyway, Kargil happened in 99. 2001, Parliament. 2000 and the Twin Peaks. 2008. So all along, India's deterrence continued to fail. Nuclear or conventional or subconventional, the point is deterrence failed. It has failed till date because you could recall, even against China, the way China has been behaving particularly from 2006-07, when it built up its capabilities in Tibet, till date, it's been arrogant, it's been intimidating, it's been bullying virtually us daily. That's the reality on the ground. The latest intrusion was Daulat Beg Oldi just a few months ago. So India's deterrence, I concede, has failed. Nuclear, conventional, subconventional. We need to put that right. We need to get our act together on that front. And there's a lot of homework to be done.